Welcome to the channel. My name is Matthias. Today we're going to talk about Incredible Hulk issues 413 to 416, a 4-issue story arc called The Trojan War. That personally, even though Peter David does a good job and the art is killer from Gary Frank, it's way too long. It could have been told in 2 issues or had a better B plot to it. It sort of drags, and the main premise of the story is that we have this alien race called the Trojans, and the prince of this race, his name is Trauma. Now it seems that he has had already a run-in with Hulk. Now I don't have that particular story, but it's referenced in this one, and now he has returned to Earth to reclaim his queen, who is Atlanta, one of the members of the Pantheon. Now, before we get to that part where we have Trauma arriving to Earth trying to reclaim his queen, we have this training exercise with the Hulk and Atlanta. It's like a danger room type of scenario. And it's sort of interesting because we have Hulk again with a BFG. He has this gigantic gun. It's so hilarious, this need to give Hulk a gun. And not only in this issue, like in the previous one and further issues down the line, you always see him with these massive firearms. And the thing is, you see Hulk fighting against a bunch of heroes and villains, and you get to see some interesting characters there. You see Death's Head 2. Also, I find it hilarious that you see Doomsday from DC in this battle sequence. So during this training exercise, Hulk and Atlanta have this verbal spat. They have a falling out. Atlanta goes out into the desert with Rick Jones. They're chatting it up. And out of nowhere, we have Trauma arriving. He kidnaps Atlanta. So we get a brief battle, and maybe the only interesting character development that we get with Hulk is that every once in a while, the Savage Hulk reemerges very briefly. You see Professor Hulk having a hard time keeping it under control. So after this, Hulk with all the members of the Pantheon, they go into outer space. They have this massive ship, while Atlanta on Trauma's ship, she was able to escape and she's causing all this trouble. Also, I have to mention, Frank Gehry puts in a lot of details and a lot of Easter eggs throughout the art in these issues. And the leader of the Trojans has a pet Lockheed. You can see him in a couple of panels. And seemingly a skinned Rocket Raccoon. He's very visible in one of the panels. So the Hulk and the Pantheon are able to reach Trauma's ship. They have a second battle. And things go miserably for them again. And just in the nick of time, Silver Surfer was able to save Hulk, who was left floating out in space. Now, here's a nice little detail that the story has. Silver Surfer knew that he had to go out to save the Hulk because in an earlier moment of the story, Rick Jones was sending out invitations to his wedding. One reached Doctor Strange. So Steven manifests in Hulk's apartment, and he comes across with Betty Banner. And he drops this line that really caught me off guard, where he tells her that he's really sorry about her miscarriage. Now, this reference of Betty's lost pregnancy sort of comes out of nowhere. It catches you by surprise. Peter David had this big fight with Marvel because Marvel wanted to mandate that Betty not have a child with the Hulk. Peter David did not write that issue when she loses her pregnancy. So this reference here just sort of comes out of nowhere, but it does show Doctor Strange showing empathy to Betty. Back with Hulk, Silver Surfer saves him, and then they get sucked in to this black hole, and they pop up on the other side of the universe. They're rescued by the Starjammers. I have to say that during this time, the Starjammers would pop up a lot in series outside of the X-Men side of the Marvel Universe. They are super cool, but Marvel would really push them during the early 90s. So now we have the Pantheon with the Hulk, Silver Surfer, the Starjammers. They're all gunning to save Atlanta. we get this last confrontation with the Trojans and their leader, which for the life of me, I can't remember his name, but it's not important. The thing is that he drops a line where he tells them that Atlanta was part of this deal, that she would be given as a queen to his son, and they would give the leader of the Pantheon the secret to eternal life. So Agamemnon's immortality is thanks to this deal that he did, and he never told anyone. So it sort of shows off that the leader of the Pantheon, sort of dark, sort of shady, has a hidden agenda. So we have this whole battle with the Trojans where, personally, I think just with Silver Surfer alone, he could just steamroll over all these guys. But the thing is, what happens at the end, obviously our heroes prevail, is that Trauma gets blasted. Now he's dying. All of a sudden, the tone shifts in the story, and we have to feel bad for the guy. He was a dick during this whole story. And now in his final words, he wants to tell Atlanta that he loves her, and it's all heartfelt. It makes zero sense. I guess the focus is that this tragedy is because Agamemnon screwed everyone over and didn't come clean. I don't know. But who cares? Because the Trojan War is over, and the next big story arc for the Hulk is Future Imperfect, the greatest story ever told with the Jade Giant. So we're going to leave this video here. I hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time. Bye.